How do you take your social media visuals to the next level? We'll talk about it today. Hey, ministry leader, we're going to jump right in this week and talk about how to take your social media graphics and video to the next level to help you share the gospel with your community. How can you use ready-made media to create your own social graphics? What type of graphics and video are effective on social media? How can you schedule out your visual media on social? All that and more coming up. Does your church have an active social media presence? Do you find it hard to keep your pages current and engaging? Well, our friends at Outreach have a solution that can help. Outreach Social is an inexpensive service that provides you with an easy-to-use automatic post scheduler that connects directly to your social pages to keep them updated. The subscription service also has over 4,000 graphics and motions, or you can upload your own. Right now, you can try it for just $1 a month for the next 3 months. Just visit outreach.com/outreach social. That's outreach.com/outreach social. Hey guys, my guest this week is Jonathan Reynolds. Jonathan is the online campus pastor at The Harvest in Columbia, South Carolina. He has a background in radio and marketing, and God called him into ministry. He knows how to strategically plan social media accounts and also plan out graphics and video for social to make a big impact. Let's hear from Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, Carl. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I know we're in the same city together, so we're just right down the road. We had lunch at Mod Pizza, maybe a month or so ago, something like that. So Mod Pizza is definitely one of my favorite spots. Yeah. I don't know about you.
It was a good spot. It was a good day. I enjoyed meeting you, and it's crazy. You know, we connected on Facebook, and come to find out, you're literally like 5 minutes from me in the outskirts of our town. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
I know. So we'll have to get together again. Just for the I'll use Mod Pizza as an excuse to hang out with you.
All right. Well, next time I'll buy you lunch. How about that? Yeah.
All right, deal. All right, man. It's always a joy to hang out with other ministry leaders, and I love what you guys are doing at Harvest Church here in our city. Give us a little bit of your background. I know you have a background in radio as well, and we connected on that, and secular media as well. And then God called you into ministry. Kind of give folks your story a little bit.
Yeah, I actually had an 11-year run in sports talk media locally here, and we're in Columbia, South Carolina. I was on a Fox Sports affiliate here. I was syndicated into Greenville, South Carolina. Before that, I did some time on ESPN radio in Columbia. So an 11-year run, talking sports, loved it. It was my dream job, or so I thought. And throughout my whole life, I really felt a call to ministry, and God was tugging at me, and I was ignoring it. And he kept telling me, hey, this is really the direction that I'm going to take you. And I was like, no, but this is the job that you gave me. This is my dream job. And one day he just said, no, this is where we're going. And I've been full-time in ministry for 6 years, and for 3 years I've been running our online ministry at Harvest Church. So I think radio was really good for me because you get a chance just to get exposed to different forms of media and communication, and really understanding how to connect with people and how to lead people through different various mediums. So it was a great experience, but honestly, when you really start kind of walking the path that God has for you, you experience true joy. So I'm having a blast, and I love the online space. I love the digital space. I love the potential and what's been taking place over the last probably 3 to 4 years, probably since the advent of COVID.
So what does the week look like for you? What are you responsible for?
Well, in my role as the online campus pastor, I'm really responsible for everything that we do from a digital standpoint. And that includes web, that includes social media, and anything that kind of falls under that umbrella. So from a Monday through a Friday per se, not counting Sunday. Sunday is really about church and producing our online service. But on Monday, I get together with my team. We have a meeting each Monday at 10:30. I have a full-time graphic designer. I have a full-time social media coordinator, and we kind of lay out not only what's on the agenda for this week and what we're going to produce, but also we kind of look at the next couple of weeks and map out our plan and sort of our strategy for what we're trying to achieve. So that begins on Monday, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's a lot of follow up, some meetings. As you know, in church, we love our meetings. We love our staff meetings, and those are beneficial. But a lot of it is just content creation, content production, and meeting with my team and making sure we're on target, and a lot of editing as well and things like that. And I also have realized the new love that I have that I didn't know I had before, and that is data analysis. I love getting into the numbers and seeing how effective we're being with our various platforms and how on target we've been with our messaging. And I love the fact that it's almost instant feedback.
So tell me, I'm going to write that down because I want to talk to you about that a little bit more. But tell me, coming from a marketing secular background, tell me how you've kind of taken your knowledge of marketing. What was the church missing? Like when you were like, oh, this happens all the time in marketing for secular organizations, but I'm not seeing that in church world at all. Was there anything like that you saw?
Yeah, I think, and this is probably common for a lot of churches, and I know they don't like this word, but it's true. Your church is a brand. So I think really just initially helping them recognize the fact that the church is a brand, and they need to figure out ways to really promote that brand and get it in front of people in our community, in front of our target audience. So we developed a strategy initially just kind of to figure out how we can be more effective at that. So there really wasn't a mechanism in place when I started 6 years ago. In fact, they had a very, very small social media presence. So one of the first things that I did, aside from just kind of establishing our brand and figuring out what that looked like, was going heavy into establishing a social media presence. And that's been awesome. That's an exciting space. And as you know, everyone that you want to reach is online. I mean, for the most part, everyone that you're trying to get through the doors of your church or reach with the good news of Jesus is online in some form. So that was really what we did initially 6 years ago, and then we've just really been building upon that with the different pieces we've added. A lot in the form of some of the live stream things that we do, and certainly our online services on Sundays and Wednesdays, and then leveraging those to reach more people.
Were you guys did you have online services before COVID at Harvest? Or
we did.
Minimal?
We actually did. You know, when I came on board 6 years ago, I was doing a service. I was actually in the booth, and I kind of think it was right around when Facebook Live became a thing, and I was playing with it during service. And I was like, you know what? Like, I wonder what would happen if I went live and I just used my phone and I filmed this worship song, one of those worship sets from the booth. So I did it. And then I just watched what happened, and people started hopping on and saying, this is awesome. I love this, because it was a new thing, right? But they loved the fact that despite the fact that they weren't in the building, they could connect with some of our worship experience. And then I did that probably for a month, just kind of playing with it. And then for a couple of weeks, I didn't do it. And people complained. So I was like, okay, well, we have something here. Yeah. So slowly after that, we decided let's get a camera and let's figure out how to effectively live stream this. So then we would do the whole worship set. And then it was, okay, well, let's figure out how to do the whole service. And it was very basic. It was very rudimentary back then. But as we made a greater investment, we added a couple cameras. We actually had 2 cameras, very simple cameras, and a switcher that we would run from the downstairs booth. Just kind of going back and forth between shots. And I think probably like a lot of different churches, we utilized it as more of a supplement to what we were doing in-house. And it was mainly for people that were sick or people that were shut in, or maybe some people that were out of town, just for our main church congregation as a way to connect. So we were already established to some degree before COVID hit. So the transition there wasn't too hard for us. We actually, one of the first things that we did when COVID hit was because we were just basically going right into Facebook. And as COVID came about and more churches were doing it, Facebook would crash all the time. And that's where we decided to look at encoding companies like Living as One, which is now Resi.
Yeah.
So we actually had an account with Living as One. We started that, and then as it became Resi too, we've stayed with them and we've added. I mean, we've made a great, probably 6-figure investment into our live stream production now.
Yeah. All right. So I want to dive into visuals, your visual media on social.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about the importance of that. Why are graphics and video especially important to your?
I'm sorry.
No, go for it. To your online strategy.
Yeah, well, you want to be able to grab the attention of your target audience, right? And if it doesn't matter, like if you're producing a lot of content, if it's not resonating with the people that you want it to resonate with, then you're kind of wasting your time. So you have to have visuals and videos that captivate the audience and also speak the message that you want to speak. So we utilize them all the time. And we're very strategic in what we produce and what we put out because, we have different intentions with our social media presence and what we're trying to do. So all of that kind of falls into our marketing mix.
So what types of graphics and video are you guys finding are most effective on social media?
Well, I mean, I think one thing that if I was going to talk to a church, and I think for me, this is something that's near and dear to my heart because I know how effective it is. And I see a lot of churches, unfortunately, that either the pastor or the staff just is afraid of social media, right? Because of all the connotations that come with social media. And from our standpoint, again, that's where everyone is. And we feel like it's an opportunity to use this platform that, in reality is also used in a lot of negative ways, but we know that we can utilize this platform in a way that is effective for advancing the kingdom. So, everything that we do is targeted, and we're using a lot of the first thing that I would tell a lot of churches is listen, like when somebody comes into a town or somebody's looking for a church, they're going to go to your social media because they want to see what you look like. So one of the main things that we do is we utilize a lot of in-service photos, a lot of foyer photos, a lot of smiling faces, a lot of pictures of our kids ministries and things that really paint a picture of who we are. And again, that kind of goes back to our brand, things that really help exhibit our brand and put it on display for people to see. And again, people are going to connect with people that look like them and people that are going through different stages or same stages of life as them. So we'll utilize a lot of photographs. We do have a bunch of different photographers that we use on a Sunday morning. And then beyond that, we've actually probably over the last year and a half have pivoted to utilizing Canva a lot just because it saves us a lot of time. And Canva has a ton of potential. And obviously, if you're a nonprofit, you get the advantages of the upgraded software that they allow us to have. So we use a lot of Canva. My social media person is on Canva a lot, creating. There's a lot of great templates and stuff on there that we can utilize, especially now for Reels. Where we've moved a lot into Reels and shorts and things like that.
So Canva can be one place, and then us and others. But how would you suggest that churches use ready-made or pre-done or templates? Obviously, we want them to be high quality,
right?
The graphics and video that the churches put out on social. So maybe suggest some ways that you are using ready-made, that you are using pre-done stuff.
Well, I think one thing that we do is we sit down, like I said, we meet each Monday. We're like, okay, well, what do we have on the agenda for this week? What do we have on the agenda for the next couple of weeks? What does that event or a ministry opportunity look like? And then what are we trying to say? What are we trying to grab? One thing that we've pivoted to recently is really starting to create more content that helps people engage with us and adds value to them, because there's so much noise out there, as you know. Like there's a lot of social media noise, and by noise I mean just there's so much content out there that's being thrown at us all the time. And what separates us, what differentiates us? So we're going to use a lot of things that we can build either stories from picture stories. We'll take sermon notes and create bullet points from the sermon series, or 3 ways that you can enhance your marriage, and produce those types of things. So when we think about ready made, well, if we're creating a slideshow that is helping people with their marriage, certainly we're going to find pre-made graphics that speak to that. So it's really targeted. And I would encourage anyone that if you know what your message is that you're trying to portray, like that you need to find a graphic that coincides with that.
So give me some ways. I love the planning involved that you guys work a couple of weeks out. Give me some ways that you found to schedule out your visuals most effectively. Do you use a buffer, a Hootsuite, or something like that, or do you do it all manually? How do you?
We do some manually. I mean, and a lot of stuff in church is fluid. So, we have a calendar we can schedule out, but hey, look, we're going to have a pig picking in a couple of weeks that wasn't on the calendar last month. That would probably be done. I mean, if it were closer to the date, we would do a lot of stuff manually, but honestly, we use Meta for a lot, because our main 2 platforms that we utilize are Facebook and Instagram, and Meta allows us to plan out and schedule out that way. And Meta actually is enhancing and growing there, as I mentioned before, some of the data analysis, and they'll give you great analytics when it comes to when your people are most likely online, when's the best time to post, and some of that's trial and error, because sometimes it's not always accurate, but a lot of times it is. So we just try to find that sweet spot of when people are most active, and we'll schedule out based on those different times.
So tell me about some of the numbers that you have found that maybe surprised you, especially when it comes to the visual content. Are people engaging more in video than still graphics? What are the numbers showing?
The numbers show me that shorts and reels are where it's at right now. And that's probably a recent phenomenon, or at least it is for us, that we've just really said, you know what, like if we're going to spend time and effort producing content, maybe we need to lean more heavily onto those, because again, we have a lot of different objectives. I think if you talk to different people in my kind of, I guess, sphere of work, what we do, you'll hear different things. A lot of people don't like the idea that you're just counting impressions. I like impressions because I look at it like a billboard, right? When I'm driving down the street, if I see a sign, that's making an impression on me. If I see that sign 5 times in a day when I'm driving down the road, that makes 5 impressions on me. If I do it over the course of a week, that's 25 times. Over the month, it's 100 times, right? So I don't mind impressions in terms of like just getting your brand out there, because the hope with that is that after enough times, if those same people are looking at a church, what's going to pop in their head? Well, hopefully the fact that they've seen Harvest so many times, they're going to be like, well, this Harvest Church, I see them all the time. Let's go check them out, or at least let's go check out their website. So I will look at impressions. That's not my only main one, but I will look at that. And then when it comes to our live services, I don't look at impressions as much on that, because I'm trying to gain engagement. So I'll look at 1 minute views as sort of the barometer that I utilize for our live services, because if I can get someone on for a minute, and I compare that to my marketing background and know how much a radio ad would love to have someone stick around for a minute, right? Or a television ad. If I can get you bought in for a minute, like I've got you a little bit right there. Like you're engaging with me, you're investing in me. I can give you my message a little bit in that time, so I can build off of that. So that's really a number that I focus on when it comes to live streams. But the YouTube is a great platform for getting in and digging through data analysis, and I love being able to see the device that they're utilizing to watch. To me, that's where I can learn a lot about who our audience is. The one thing that you lose with YouTube versus Facebook, because Facebook, I can see everybody who's in the chat room, right? If you're watching on Facebook, I can see when you hop in, I can see when you're chatting, I can follow up with you. The one thing that's lost with that on YouTube is because it happens because a lot of people on YouTube now are watching it via their smart TV, which is what I would do, right? That's what I do. Like if I'm not a service, I'm going to stream it to my TV. The downside to that is you're not communicating with me because you're probably on your couch,
right. With an
watching
Apple TV app or something.
Right. But I like to figure out what device they're watching it from. And for us, that's probably been the most surprising for me, because when I look back through our numbers each Sunday, I can see that we're probably right now averaging about 200 televisions per service with an average watch time of 30 minutes. So if I kind of break that out and dig deeper, 30 minutes is a long time, and you're probably only watching in one television per house. So that means I'm probably in close to 200 homes where they're averaging 30 minutes of watch time. In
Times
Lexington
three
County,
people for
right, there's probably
family
three
of four.
people, right? So I mean, then you're 500, 600 people. Like suddenly there's a big church out there just watching via a television, and then you can break down to tablets, or you can look at phones, and it really kind of gives me a picture of how people are engaging and utilizing our church services and our media. But that's a fascinating thing to kind of dig through and really see. The next evolution of that is really figuring out how to engage beyond just what I see in the numbers. How can I grab those people? And we recently had a young lady who I've never seen online. I've never seen her name. She's never sent us an email. I've never, received an online connect card from her. She reached out to the church probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer. And we were having a baptism, and she said, "Hey, I've been participating online for 2 years, and I feel led to get baptized." So my next step with her is I'm actually going to sit down and interview her, because I want to know, well, what keeps you there? What makes you want to come back? How can we be better there? How can we engage with people like you, who are kind of sitting on the sidelines participating, but not really known to anyone?
Right.
And I feel like probably I'm not alone in terms of people in my position, online campus pastors, that are trying to figure it out. That's probably the golden question for anyone in my position, is how can I meet and communicate or contact the people that are participating with our services.
Okay, so if you were to first go into a new church staff,
Yep.
knowing what you know from radio and marketing, and then being on staff at Harvest for 6 years, what would you do different if you were to step into a new place? No online engagement at all, maybe. How would you start from scratch? Which is where a lot of folks are kind of sitting.
Right. Well, I mean, the first thing that I would do is I would check out their social media presence again, because everyone that you want to reach is online, and everyone, despite maybe the negativity that's associated with it, all your people are most likely using some form of social media. So I'm going to build my brand that way first. I'm going to establish a Facebook page. I'm going to establish an Instagram presence. Depending on who I'm really trying to target, I may hop over to TikTok. As a matter of fact, we have a TikTok page. I have a 23-year-old that utilizes that. Personally, I'm 46. I don't want to see what's on TikTok, but there's a vast audience out there, right? And I know the numbers on there, and it's amazing how much you can grow just by utilizing TikTok. But I would first establish Facebook. I would establish an Instagram. And then I would do a lot of kind of what we did. I would show pictures of our people. I would put our face out there. I would add value added content as well, just as a way to help people and draw people in and show that, oh, this is interesting. They're interested in helping with my marriage. This is actually good stuff that I can utilize in my home, or help me be a better parent, or whatever that is. So that's really where I would start. And depending on the church body, maybe not depending on the church body, I think at any church, one thing that we did really to grow our social media presence quickly, especially when it comes to Facebook, is really encourage shares. So each service, you're going to hear from the pulpit, our pastors, our leaders, myself, encourage people to share. And we coined the term virtual missionary. So it's really the easiest way to help spread the good news. All you have to do is hit the share button, and then let God do whatever he's going to do. But nothing that I've seen so far scales like Facebook when it comes to shares. And some people pay a lot of money to have that same number of impressions and exposure that you get. We target 30 to 50 shares each Sunday. That's my barometer. Like if I can get there, I know I'm going to reach a certain amount of people. I know I'm going to have a certain amount of engagement. So I would really push shares, and it's an easy way to get buy-in from your congregation. And then on the back end, you show them what's happening. You celebrate the victories. You celebrate the people that are participating. And we also will follow up too. So online, we'll have an opportunity for people to follow up, or just say, "Hey, I'm new here," and then we'll go in and we'll message them and try to create a relationship that way. But the first thing that I would do if I was going into a new church that had no online presence is that we would go heavy in social media first.
Good. All right, a couple more questions for you. What are some ways that you've used visual media to improve your online worship experience or presence in general?
Visuals to our online worship experience. Well, I don't know about our online worship experience because our services are kind of put together through we use Proclaim right now. We're moving to ProPresenter, but we have lower thirds and things like that. I mean, we'll pull full screen graphics on from service if we need to, but mainly we're going to utilize a lot of that in either split screens, or just lower thirds in general. Now we do have the advantage of having a massive LED wall behind our pulpit. So whatever's on there for the most part is going to get projected online as well. And I apologize. What was the second part of that?
Or just your presence in general. What are some ways that you've used graphics and video to really enhance?
Well, videos tell stories, right? I think videos for me are key because you can tell a great story with a video, and people love video. So we'll, again, depending on what we're trying to accomplish, we're going to try to either find a video that's pre-made. I know you all do an amazing job of producing video content that speaks to a wide audience, but also a very targeted audience. So we'll pull some of those things in as well and kind of weave them into what we're doing. We also utilize those in service as well. It'd be a sermon bumper or just an illustration that we want to get across to the viewer. And we'll do some of those on social media, but for social media now, if it's going to be a video, it's probably going to be something that we've produced ourselves, probably in the form, like I said, of a reel or a short. And that's just because people's attention span is so short.
Yeah. Good. All right. Last question for you. Kind of similar. Why do visuals matter in general when it comes to communicating the gospel and engaging people online? Why do visuals matter?
Visuals matter because they're going to help capture the audience that you're trying to reach. You want to set yourself apart, as I mentioned before, from all the noise that's out there. There's so much content. We're inundated with content. So how am I going to differentiate myself? What separates me from the pack? And you can do that by crafting or utilizing visuals that help tell the story that you're trying to tell, or help push your brand forward. And again, there's so many great opportunities and services out there that just kind of partner alongside of us and help us achieve that. And it saves a lot of time as well. It saves a lot of creative energy as well. So we can kind of come up with a broad idea, and then lo and behold, more times than not, we'll be able to find something that foots the bill. So it's just an enhancement to what we're trying to do.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for the time. I'd love to come visit you guys one Sunday. Definitely down the road, and pizza on you next time, I guess.
Amen. Yeah, I got pizza, and as a matter of fact, you should come to our pig picking.
Oh, I would love to. Man, thank you so much for the time.
All right, thank you so much, Carl.
Hey, ministry leaders, Jake Mozart here from the Church Visuals team. I serve as a ready-made creative director. I just wanted to encourage you that you are doing a great job, and don't grow weary in doing good. Your work for the kingdom matters. How you communicate the gospel matters, and that's why we take such great care in helping you present God's word with high quality visuals. It's a pleasure to serve you as you serve your community. Your visuals matter. We're with you. We're praying for you. Keep up the great work.
Hey friends, here's your church visuals tip of the week. Your graphics and video on social media are important. Be intentional about it. That's it for us this week. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and at churchvisuals.com. If you want to reach the people you want to reach for Jesus, your visuals matter. I'll see you next week. Your Visuals Matter has been a podcast presentation of Church Visuals. Executive produced by Carl Barnhill. Edited by AJ Schubert. Title and show graphics by Angie Lomas. For more resources to help you visually communicate the gospel, visit churchvisuals.com.